everyone, Holler here, and I'm going to show you how to set up a Google Jamboard to start some bubble mapping for your MyStar units. So the first thing I'm going to show you is you can kind of see that I am on Google, just plain old Google, and I'm signed in. If you go to the little waffle thing, Google Apps, you can see all your stuff here, Mail, Drive, all that. If you scroll down, you can see I have Jamboard here already. Now, if your administration has not allowed you to install Jamboard, you're going to have to email them and tell them to make this available to you because some of the schools do not have this open. So before you do any of this, check to see if you can actually get on a Jamboard. If not, you're going to have to notify your admin and or tech people. So that is one way to get to it. Another way is you can just search Google Jamboard. Okay. And you can see, here's the Jamboard home right here. So I can get that, and this is where you can actually add the app, the internet part. You can click on it. It says visit website. Okay, so you may see this, where it says you don't have access to Jamboard web and mobile apps. Contact your administrator. If this happens, you're going to have to use a different account. A personal account would work. But if you want to do this through school, you're going to have to get your admin to do that. So you can see over here, I'm on this account. I'm going to switch to an account where I do have access. Okay. And I'm just going to go to, darn it all, let's keep switching me back. So you can see that I have switched to my other account in which I do have access to it. So you're gonna have to play around with that. If you're using a personal Google account, it's gonna be open for the most part. You just run into some problems with like school admin and stuff like that. So, all right, so once you're in there, you can see I have created some other jams before, and this is where they would show up if you've created some other ones. Now, one thing to know, I am in the web application, jamboard.google.com. This is for use with regular PCs and computers. If you are using a Chromebook or some kind of other tablet device that's not a full computer, you are going to be using the app version. And you can install that from the Google Play Store or the Chrome Web Store. And that's pretty easy to do if it's allowed. That actually has different features than what I'm about to show you. It has more features actually. So I'm going to be showing you the bare minimum, and then you can get more features if your students are using like those tablets and things like that. Then you would have to actually download the app. So that's a little bit different. So if I want to create a new Jamboard, I'm going to go down to this plus sign here and click New Jam. And I'm going to click that. And it's going to show up Untitled Jam. And then this is my blank workspace. So you're going to want to give it a name. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to give it a name. Suggestion, if you're going to be using this a lot, give it a name that's going to be easy for you to find and understand that you used it this particular day. So if it's for some kind of MyStar unit, you're probably going to want to name it after that part of the unit. So maybe you want to name it Bubble Map for unit, whatever you want. That's okay. So I didn't put the unit number because you can do what you want, but make sure you name it something so you can get back to it so it's not confusing, and then so you can organize these in a specific way. So this is your space here. If you look up at the top, this is where your frame bars are. Now, if I click on Expand Frame Bar, I only have one frame, so there's only one that shows. I can add frames to the right or left by pressing this plus button. Okay, see this arrow right here, Collapse Frame Bar? And I'll go back. I can also go to the next frame by just pressing this arrow, and now I'm on a second screen, and then I go back. Pretty easy to navigate. You can have unlimited Jamboards and unlimited frames inside of a Jamboard. The nice thing about frames is you can have different students working on different frames at a different time, and you can assign different frames. So if you have 10 different groups, have 10 different frames up here, and just keep adding one. Okay, so if I go to next frame, see how I clicked again? I just made a third frame just by clicking. See, I just made a fourth frame. Okay. And then if I click expand, I can get to every single frame and see every frame. I can also see what all the students are working on. You can actually look at this while the students are working and see what they're doing in real time. So that's nice. All right, so now let's look at some of these features. So again, this is the web application. This has less features than the app. The main ones is the pen. So if you click on the pen, you have some options in a few colors. You have pen, marker, highlighter, little paintbrush. Play around with it. Have some fun. This is the eraser. Pointer for just clicking on something. The post-it or sticky note feature is nice because this is where you can put notes on other people's stuff. Okay. This is the add image, and then this is the laser pointer. So see how I'm circling that, and then it goes away. All right. So let's look at some of these features. Now, I do suggest if you have a touch screen, and I'm working on a Surface Pro right now. If you have a touch screen, you could use your finger to do this, which the kids usually do if they have like a Chromebook with a touch screen. If you're using this for like lessons or you want to record yourself like I'm doing now, I recommend getting a stylus or a pen. I'm using a Microsoft Surface, so I have a pen. So I have it, so you can see I'm using my pen right now. You can see that's pretty close to my normal handwriting, which isn't good, let me tell you, but it's pretty close. Because I can use the pen, I can write directly on my screen and have it mimic my normal handwriting. You may or may not have that option depending on what's available to you. I'm just saying that you can also use your finger, not a big deal, or you can just move your mouse. So if I'm going to use my mouse, see, that's my mouse. So, I mean, it's not like terrible, but you know. One little note, the app version of this has handwriting recognition. This does not, that I'm showing you. So if you're using the app version, so if you have a Chromebook or something like that, play around with that version. That's fun. It has a lot more features, including the handwriting recognition. So let me erase this. So I have the eraser, and I'm just pushing my mouse down and erasing this. So pretty easy to fiddle with. Okay. Now, for using this for bubble mapping, create your basic bubble map first before you get the kids involved. So I'm going to go to my first frame. And options that you could do is, go to your pen, maybe pick a color, and then maybe have your main topic here. And you can see how I'm just drawing all these different options. And you can do these maps any way you want. I'm just giving you a general overview here. Put stuff in there. So they'll have like a general idea of what you want your bubble map to look like. Okay. Now, if you don't want to draw, there's the sticky note option. So you can see I clicked on sticky note. You can change the colors of the sticky notes. Okay. And you can see I can type. And then I can click on the sticky note and move it places. Okay. You can make this bigger by dragging. Okay. Again, if you're doing a touch screen, I can do this with my fingers. I'm using my mouse right now. You can do this. It's fully able to manipulate these Post-it notes. This is what you would do collaboratively. So anybody can add a Post-it note to these frames if you have the share and if you have it allowed. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. So let's say you want to highlight something and you're giving a lesson or talking about your bubble map and be like, that's really interesting. Go to the laser, be like, hey, I found this really interesting. Can you explain that? So the laser is merely just a pointer and it doesn't put anything on the screen. Okay. And let's say I want to make another sticky note. Okay. Another note. Put that there. Maybe this is from a different student and they have a different color, so you can do this. You can also use this completely to do your bubble map with the sticky notes and just draw arrows instead of these, because not everybody has the function of the pen. So let's say I want to do that. So let me move these notes. And, this is pretty easy too. Maybe you want to do that. Okay, so maybe you want to show how two sticky notes are related. Whatever you want to do, it might be a lot easier to do the notes and then just draw an arrow versus doing all that. Really up to you. Now, adding pictures is fun and the kids like to do it. If you go to this add image feature, click on that, and you can upload an image. You can do a Google image search. You can upload from your photos or go to your Google Drive. If you have specific images that you want to use, say from a MyStar unit, have those images ready to roll in your Google Drive, or you can just do a snippet of something, but you're going to have to save it in your Google Drive. Easy thing to do a Google image search. So let's say I want to look for a plant. I just typed in plant. You've got so many options off of Google. You might not even need to save any of your own photos. Just pick something. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to click select, and it's going to insert this into my Jamboard. And I can manipulate this. So I'm going to put that there. And you see how it goes over what I drew there. Okay. And let's say I have my pen again, and you can see I am drawing on this picture right now. Okay. So you can actually draw over a picture, but I can also click on this and move it, and that leaves that, or I can put that back, and then it's drawing over it. So you can draw over a picture if you want to do that. And let's delete that. So the eraser function erases the lines that I've drawn, not the picture. So you can see I'm erasing right over the picture, which is a nice convenient option. If I want to erase the picture, I got to go click back on the arrow, and then I can click on the picture. And I'm just going to press delete on my keyboard and get rid of it, if that's what I want to do. Same thing with these sticky notes, delete, whatever I want to do. So there are your options for the web application. Again, for the app, there's more, so I recommend you go on there and play. Okay. Best way to set up the bubble map for the MyStar is have your stuff ahead of time. Okay. And then you're going to want to share it with the kids. So if you go to the top right where it says share, click on the button, and you will have some options. You can specifically share it with certain groups, say your Google Classroom, or easy way, change this down here, okay, to change the restriction limits. So this one's restricted. Only people added can open with this link, which means you'll have to add them up here, okay? If you click on it, you can change the sharing options. See, it says click restricted to change the link. Got it? So I'm going to click this drop-down menu, and I am going to select what I would like. Easy thing, if you're working in the school system, change it to your school system, and any of your kids that are using their school email will be able to get into it. If you are looking broader, anyone with the link can view. Then you'll copy the link and share it with the group that you want to share it with. And it's really easy as just clicking copy link, and then I'm just going to copy paste that link wherever I want. You can email it to your kids. You can put it in Google Classroom. Since this is Google, this works seamlessly with Google Classroom. So you can actually share the Jamboard right on Google Classroom. They can get into the Jamboard from Google Classroom. All you have to do is copy the link and paste it in there. So if you've used Google Classroom, pretty easy. Now, the other thing you need to be careful with, notice this says viewer. As it stands right now, the person I'm sharing it with is a view only. If you want your kids to be able to edit, you need to click this menu and click editor. This is very important. It doesn't take that long. It literally takes 2 minutes for me to go in here and do it, but you don't want to really stop your lesson roll, So make sure you've gone in here ahead of time before you begin your lesson and get your share on here, okay? Decide what you want to do. So again, make sure you click the drop down and make sure you select editor, okay? Then when you're set, okay, you're going to click done, and then it will be shared properly, okay? Now, caveat to this. Let's say you have some kids that are going to be naughty and they want to mess up stuff not during class time. This is a way to figure this out. If I go back to my share, let's say you're done. Let's say you're done with the lesson for the day and you don't want the kids to mess with it anymore. okay? Switch it to viewer, okay? When you have it switched to viewer, click done. Now, anybody with the link can only view it, but not edit it, which is nice. So the kids can actually look back at what they did for the day and anybody else's work, but they cannot change any of it. And this is what I recommend doing every single time you end your lesson to keep your stuff there, okay? So all this is in the share, okay? Just don't forget to actually share the link. So I have it anyone on the internet can view, okay? If you click copy link, it automatically link copies to my clipboard, and I just have to copy paste it in another location and give it to the person. Okay, so that's where you're at right now. If you want to keep going your settings, there's this little gear here. So you can change, okay, what can editors do? Okay, if you don't want your editors, like your kids, to change permissions and share, okay, that means they can't do that. So that means all they can do is edit the Jamboard in your lesson. Only you are allowed to change permissions and shared. This is what I recommend, okay? This is another one that you can select. Viewers and commentators can see the option to download, print, or copy. If you want to give your kids the option to download, print, or copy your Jamboard, select it. If you don't, unselect it. Okay, so that means the kids won't be able to get the stuff if you don't want them to. And I'll just go back. And those are the two options. So just, again, go back to the gear and you can figure all that stuff out. Go to change if you want to change the restrictions, and go to the drop down. Here is the link for your Jamboard. But again, if you just press copy link, it'll copy paste wherever you want. So that's how you change the sharing settings. So that's pretty much how to start a bubble map. And different things that you could do is you could assign this for the kids and be like, okay, I need you to add such and such to the bubble map for homework. Probably a better way to do this, especially if the kids aren't used to doing this program, is to do this virtually while you're online with them in a virtual like classroom, either on Zoom or Google Meet or something, and have your screen shared with them. And then they all have the link for the Jamboard, and everybody goes in at the same time, and you guys make and discuss the map together. That's probably your best bet to do this. So then kids can add various notes and things like that while you're in the discussion. And you can be like, oh, you know, so-and-so, that was a really great thing you brought up. Can you talk about that? Then when you're done, it saves automatically. Notice there's no save option because it saves automatically. Take your sharing back to restricted or view only, and then it's saved for the next day. And you can come back to the bubble map anytime you need to in the unit and add things, okay? If you have it on view only, the kids can go back to the bubble map anytime they want during their lessons too. They just can't edit it, okay? So this has been the video on bubble mapping to use with MyStar units, okay? Hopefully you found this really helpful, and, you know, play around with it and have some fun.